awesome it was. This is Karl-James Langford. I'm reporting on a trip with my students which dates from the 17th, 18th, 19th, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Hence no video logs for those days because I was in Tintagel with, again, my Archaeology Cymru students. There was 10 of us, including the blow-up rubber doll, Guinevere, who very much enjoyed the trip, and she is to be seen in images. Went to Tintagel with my students to also stay there at the wonderful Camelot Hotel, and we visited loads of places in Cornwall. Well, when I say loads, couple on the way, you know. So basically we set out on Friday, early hours, a full minibus, 3 of us cramped in the front, and then 3 there, and then 4 there. Well, actually 4 on the back. It was a blow-up rubber doll that ended up in the boot for most of the trip. Very bizarre. So there was Chris, there was me, there was Roger Dodge. I gave them all names. There was Pete the Meat. There was Kathy the Babe. There was Annie Fanny. Obviously Guinevere the blow-up rubber doll. Dot the Hot. There was Pat the Shop. These have all got reasons beyond the names. And there was Hawk-Eyed Bill. So, was it Sharp-Eyed Bill? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so that was good. So we're going down to the minibus from Barry. We set out, collected Roger Dodge in Cardiff because he couldn't be asked to come into Barry, lazy bugger. And sort of we had one service stop, and then we stopped at a place called on the way we made a couple of stops, and the first place that we sort of went to was a place called Oakhampton. So we stopped off at Oakhampton and just basically looked at a castle. But I've just forgotten one thing in the detail. How dare I? Before we got to Oakhampton, which is in Devon, just before you get to Cornwall, we visited in Somerset. We visited the Battle of Sedgemoor Memorial. (1685), where the illegitimate son of Charles II, James, the Duke of Monmouth, led an expedition from the continent over to here, and gathered together, altogether about 7,000 men to fight the legitimate king, who is a Catholic and very unpopular, because Prince James, the legitimate king's son, James, was basically a Protestant, and people didn't want to see a Catholic in charge of the country. So he led this campaign, few victories, however, Battle of Sedgemoor, the pitchforked sort of militaria of the area, sort of peasants, badly armed, were no match for the royalist soldiers, were completely wiped out in the Battle of Sedgemoor, and many sent for transportation, many hung, drawn and quartered by the great Judge Jeffreys, who apparently came from Wales, and obviously quite a number killed on the battlefield. And we went to see the monument of the Battle of Sedgemoor, and it was quite stark then as it is now, because the drainage reams, very boggy type of landscape. So, but before that, we went to the church at West Zoyland, and West Zoyland was where 500 of the rebels under Prince James on the 6th of July 1685 were sort of herded into, injured and all the rest of it. Basically they were then sent off either for transportation or hung, drawn and quartered at various places around Somerset. Interestingly enough, they were sent to a load of places in Somerset usually in numbers of 12, 12, 6 and 3. I don't know if that's got any significance, but anyway, by the end of the month, Duke of Monmouth had been captured and then executed. His head of cavalry, Lord Grey, sold out the location for where Duke of Monmouth was, and then basically Lord Grey was pardoned, eventually given back his lands, and that's it. Traitor, coward. It may have been that if Lord Grey had used his cavalry right on the battlefield, maybe it would be a completely different history now. But anyway, James was eventually defeated by William of Orange, the James that beat James, King James that beat Prince James, and then basically William of Orange, the Protestant, took over, and therefore never again shall we see Catholic on the throne of England, Britain. There you go, say it properly. Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, British Commonwealth. And that's basically why it comes to Wallace Simpson in 1936, 1937, where basically Edward wasn't able to marry a Catholic. Job done. That answers it. American divorcee Catholic. Anyway, that's that. Anyway, moving on. So then we have Oakhampton, the castle there, lovely castle, destroyed probably in the Civil War, because bits of the wall had collapsed down and all that stuff. And then what else happened? And then we got to Tintagel, so we all visited, well, some of us did because it was really wet. We visited the remains of Tintagel Castle. The legendary place of King Arthur, and then we went to stay at the wonderful hotel, the Camelot Hotel. Wonderful hotel, paintings everywhere, huge Gothic building, built in the end of the 1890s. It only took 5 years to build. I think it was built from 1894 to 1897. Good recall of dates there, Carl. That's why I've done archaeology for years. Making a good actor as well, remembering my lines, maybe not. Anyway, and then we all went to the hotel and we had a wonderful meal in the evening. The food at the Camelot Hotel, can't praise it anymore, was wonderful. Service was great, brilliant staff. And then we all woke up in the morning, had a huge breakfast. I was noted for eating the huge breakfast and everything else, English breakfast, French continental breakfast and whatever, all that stuff, and brought some of the food with me as well. And then we left that, and then we went to so my students insisted we went to Port Isaac, where it's oh god, Port Isaac, there's a film, TV series film there, so we visited that in the minibus. Couldn't get through the street, so that was good. We visited that. We basically viewed quickly the 9 stones of the nine maidens of Cornwall, just on the way down to the Fogu near Land's End. The Fogu, basically images to follow now. Okay, as you can see the images of the Fogu, we went underground. Basically, there's a Fogu under a settlement that goes back to the Bronze Age, 3,000 years ago, into the Iron Age, into the Roman period, and into the 1700s as well. Fogu underground passage, we don't really know what it was used for. Maybe for storage. It wasn't used for sanctuary because there was no escape. What was it used for? It was under a house, maybe as a meeting hall. We don't know. We don't really know much about the Fogu, so that was there. We visited that, so absolutely awesome. And then moving on, after that, weird type of site on a hill. We went to see the Merry Maidens of Cornwall after I got a bit lost with the directions, but everyone managed to get to the place where they saw the where the cables go across the Atlantic all the way to America, and the first place that the cables were set up, I think at the end of the 1800s or beginning of the 1900s. So they saw the building there, and then we got on, saw the Merry Maidens of Cornwall, 19 stones. Well, maybe 22 stones originally, I don't know. But anyway, these maidens were set up in the field by people in the Bronze Age. But basically, local legend is that these merry maidens danced on the Sabbath on a Sunday. And then because they were dancing with the devil, they were then turned to stone. So that's that. So when we drove back, tried to find the 9 maidens again, but we didn't. And then everybody went to we went back to Tintagel at the Camelot Hotel, and we all sat down afterwards and had a drink, and the mystery of the disappearance of Kathy, one of my students. So we all did what's happened to Kathy. Yeah, she was alive. I didn't murder her. She wanted to murder me. But anyway, we had something to eat, nice fish and chips before that. Then we woke up the next day, so I'd already paid. First time ever in my life, slap on my back. I was there before 11 o'clock, ready to get into the minibus. Well, everyone had gone into town to go shopping, packed the shop, and some of them went down to the castle to see Tintagel Castle again, because there'd been a bit of a rush on the Friday. Now, this day is now the Sunday, so, and then what we did, we drove to Exeter, saw bits of the wall. Everyone went off to see the cathedral, go into Greg's there as well. And then what else happened then? We then drove up to Glastonbury, had an hour in Glastonbury, and I was remembering times in the past that I felt were still with me in a way, and happy memories. So we visited Glastonbury, and then we drove back, and I can honestly say it was a massively successful day. All my students thoroughly enjoyed themselves. Sorry, Clive, you didn't go because you couldn't be bothered. You decided to go on a ramble. You missed a wonderful trip, Clive. I know you'll be watching this. And you know, managed to sort out the minibus at the end, if anyone knows me. And that was great, and everybody left on a positive. There were no arguments. We were winding each other up silly, all the idea. Guinevere, the blow-up rubber doll, is still with me. Yeah, very odd. Anne even bought her a dress. So yeah, so that's that. And that's everything. So thank you everybody who took part in a trip with Archaeology Cymru to Cornwall, Tintagel, and thank you for watching this video.
In Harry's web, it'll lose your